Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bring Jennifer in. Jennifer, we're just getting word, obviously, with the president's announcement, what this looks like.
Well, Brett, we knew that there was something afoot this morning when we woke and heard that there were 6 B-2 bombers that had been seen leaving Whiteman Air Force Base last night at midnight. And so those planes, we were told, were heading towards Guam. Now, Guam would have been an 18-hour flight into Iran, so it is likely that it was a different set of B-2 bombers that were used to bomb the sites, the 3 sites that the president mentioned tonight on Truth Social. That is the Fordow complex, which we've been watching all week. That is the massive main, sort of what's known as the heart or the crown jewel of Iran's nuclear program. It's underneath that mountain just outside of Qom, which is 2 hours south of Tehran. That complex, we understand, has been bombed by those U.S. B-2 bombers tonight. Also, Isfahan, as well as Natanz. Natanz had another underground facility. Remember, before Fordow was built in 2006, Natanz had been the main enrichment site. It was also built underground. Israeli jets had been targeting it in the last in the last week, but they had not been able to penetrate underground. So those U.S. B-2 bombers, which flew out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, they would have taken out that underground facility. Natanz is interesting. You'll remember, Brett, it was the site of the Stuxnet virus, the cyber attack on those centrifuges years ago. But again, it was back up and running. And what is surprising, I think, tonight is that the president announced that it was not one site, but 3 underground sites and sites inside Iran's nuclear program that were struck by the U.S. Air Force tonight.
Yeah, and it is something. We'll go back to that Truth Social and eventually Control Room, if we can put it up there just so that everybody can see it on the screen. The fact that this, first of all, this announcement comes from Truth Social. This is a president who has put out a lot of announcements, big announcements through Truth Social, and this is the biggest of them, probably his biggest decision. The very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites, as you said, Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan, getting very specific there. And the payload, he says a full payload of bombs dropped on the primary site, Fordo. That suggests, Jennifer, as we had been saying for many days, that they may have made several passes at Fordo, considering that the experts were saying that just one probably wouldn't have gotten to the heart of that facility.
Well, remember, Brett, we've been reporting in recent days that Fordo is interesting because it has 2 entrance points. And we were told by experts who have followed the planning for this kind of strike for a long time that it would take at least 2 bombs from the B-2s, those MOPs, the massive ordnance penetrators. Those are 30,000-pound bombs, and each B-2 can carry 2 of them. Usually the way it works is that one of the MOP 30,000-pound bunker buster is dropped. It goes into a hole that's about a radius of about 25 feet, I'm told, and then the second bomb is dropped in the same hole. And so at first that 30,000-pound bunker buster will go down about 200 feet, explode, and then make way for the second bomb, which falls into that exact 25-foot radius hole. And of course, people are calling right now, so just a moment. And so what's interesting about it, Brett, is that you would have had to have at least 2 B-2s, but I believe that it was likely a package of 6 B-2s that would be flying. They each had 2 MOP massive ordnance penetrators on board at the time, and they would have hit both those entrances at Fordo. The president saying that Fordo, that the complete package was struck. That is significant because that means, as you said, that it would probably be multiple passes and multiple bombs dropped there.
Yeah, so as we get ready, remember, they are, 7 hours ahead, and this would have been the window to pull this off. The president, again, saying that it was very successful in 3 different sites. We should point out that the Israelis have worked really, as we've been reporting over the last week plus, very hard to take out the air defenses of Iran. Already in a first wave of runs back in October, the Israeli military and Air Force took out a lot of those surface-to-air missiles. And we have seen a lot of Israeli missiles and drones coming in really night after night into Israel. This night has not seen that much of that. There have been a few warnings, but not the same volley that we've heard in recent days. In addition to taking out the surface-to-air missiles and clearing the way for the ability to take out targets inside Iran, they've also really managed to take out a lot of missile sites and places that had been threats for missiles fired from Iran. There is a sense even that they were taking out the trucks that moved the missiles, as precise as the Israeli military targeting has been. You've been reporting on that over the last few days.
It's really extraordinary because when this started, the Israelis estimated that the Iranians had about 100 mobile ballistic missile launchers. They have taken out, they think, about 55% of any of the missile launchers that the Iranians have access to now. The Iranians have blown through quite a bit of their missile stockpile. They had about, I think, about 3,000 ballistic missiles when this started, maybe between 1,000 to 2,000 that could reach Israel, and I think that they've fired about 500. But most importantly, the IDF and the Israeli Air Force have been able to take out, as you mentioned, almost half of the missile launchers. So each night we've seen fewer and fewer ballistic missiles being fired at Israel. All of the drones that have been fired at Israel have been taken out. We understand that Israeli pilots, along with American fighter pilots, have been taking down those drones each night. So American pilots have been helping as well, as along with those U.S. Navy destroyers. There are 5 U.S. Navy destroyers in the Eastern Med off the coast of Israel who've been using their Aegis defense systems to shoot down ballistic missiles over Israel. So the U.S. has been very involved, along with U.S. soldiers who are on the ground. There are about 300 U.S. soldiers that are working at who are manning the THAAD and the Patriot PAC-3 missiles that are defending cities within Israel.